Rebecca, first-time caller, you're on the air.
Hey, Shawn, I just wanted to comment when you were talking about going to the temple.
Yeah.
I went to the temple first time 17 years ago, and I remember as I was going through the process, I remember thinking, what is going on? And I remember that sinking feeling. I remember just feeling so humiliated because I was always the last one standing, and I had no idea what I was supposed to be doing, and people were looking at me like, hurry up, and I almost burst into tears because I had no idea what I was supposed to do.
Yeah.
And finally, when that whole ordeal was over and I had to, walk through the veil into the other room, I remember walking through and just crying and bawling, and I remember these people coming up to me. I remember one lady in particular saying, "Oh, are you having a spiritual experience?" And I looked at her and I said, "I have no idea what's going on." And she was kind of mortified. She pointed me in the direction of a lady or of a gentleman to go speak to, and she says, "Well, maybe he could help you." And I remember nobody was able to tell me anything. Nobody could explain a thing. What was just going on? It was so secretive.
Did you go back?
And what was that?
Did you go back?
I went back one more time thinking, well, maybe I just was, just was stupid the first time, and went back one more time, and I never went back again. The first guy I originally talked to the first time gave me a phone number. He says, "Here, call this man. He might be able to help you." And I never called him. I was just so embarrassed and humiliated, and felt so, I don't know. It was a horrible experience for me, and I don't know, maybe it was because I was only 19 or 20.
No, it wasn't. No, it was because you were alive and you were looking around and you were using your mind to say, this does not make any sense. So you were right, Rebecca. Praise God that you never went back.
Thank you. Thanks.
You
for talking to me.
Thanks for calling.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. I want to explain something to you while the phones are clogged, but keep calling. The operators are clearing them. Let me tell you why it's so confusing. You see, you go through the church from cradle to when you go on a mission for a male or a female, or you get married, or the bishop just wants you to go through the temple. You've never been through the temple, but as a kid you sing, "I want to see the temple, I'm going there someday." And you sing all about the temple, the temple, the temple. So you have these high expectations of what it's about. And what happens is you go in and you are exposed to this complete other universe. It's a completely different universe compared to what you grew up in for 18 or 20 years in the church. And suddenly you are doing all kinds of standing and sitting and rituals and hand movements and memorization on the spot, and stand up if you don't want to be a part of this, and everyone sits there quietly, and then go to this place and recite this thing which is about 2 paragraphs long and you can't remember any of it. And everyone talks in hushed tones, and they gently lead you around, and they all have this look about, this is so wonderful, isn't it? But no one's really connecting, at least for the first 100 times you go through, exactly what it's all about. And people, when you go in there and you go into their celestial room and you say, "Hey, what does that mean?" Well, you'll learn about that in time. It will become open to you. And bottom line, what they did was they took Masonic rituals and they put them in the Mormon temple. Now, what you have to understand is all those people who go through, they are thinking they have to understand and get all that stuff down. It takes 2 hours to get it down in their head. They're supposed to know all that before they die so that they can go in and enter heaven when they die. It's a huge amount of pressure, and so it causes you to break and you keep going back, or a lot of people walk away. I had a friend, he got married, he and his wife, they walked out the door and they threw the garments in the trash can and never went back. Some people are brave enough to do that. Some people are not. So that's why that caller, Rebecca, said it was so devastating. That email said this sinking feeling, because you step into a completely different world. And it's kind of like, a spider. I don't want to go on with it. We have 2 callers waiting, but it's kind of like a trap. Everything goes along. You're singing nice hymns. You have good youth programs. Everybody's happy. Families are staying together. And then you go to the temple and boom, you're in an altogether different religion. And then that's really what Mormonism is about, getting you to that temple and having you perform at that temple level of activity. That's what it's about, because that's what feeds the coffers, that's what keeps people going, and the whole other thing.